Alberta Premier Danielle Smith's Sovereignty Act passed through the Alberta legislature in the early hours of the morning on Thursday. It was just 10 days after it was tabled. It feels like we've been talking about the Sovereignty Act for months. Well, because we have. Danielle Smith first pitched a Sovereignty Act during the United Conservative Party leadership race as a means to bar federal legislation deemed harmful to Alberta and its interest. She said, in fact, a Sovereignty Act would be her first bill as Premier if elected. So this is a big deal for her, having made good on that promise. The United Conservative Party majority government passed motions at the final 3 stages of the bill to limit debate and quicken the bill's passage. In its final form, Bill 1, or the Alberta Sovereignty Within the United Canada Act, was stripped of a provision which would have granted Smith's cabinet the power to rewrite laws outside the legislative process. Following criticism, the government put forward amendments to remove those powers, but the Premier wouldn't say whether the original wording was intentional. The House then moved into third reading, and the bill was approved around 1 a.m. Mountain Time on Thursday morning. The final vote was 27 for and 7 against, with opposition NDP MLAs voting against the legislation. The NDP also voted against the amendment and the bill at all 3 readings. It's also worth noting the NDP didn't offer any amendments to Bill 1, but before its passage, NDP leader Rachel Emmanuel hosted a press conference on Wednesday with former Bank of Canada Governor David Dodge to convince Premier Smith that her flagship bill would chase away investment in the province. Here's what Dodge had to say.
Unfortunately, it seems to me that even proposing the Sovereignty Act creates a climate of uncertainty which makes it less attractive for investors to participate in the building of such a platform for growth. Whatever its final form, the Act is a signal to the world that we don't quite know what we're doing, that we can't quite get the fundamental stuff right.
That press conference didn't go over very well with the Premier. Take a listen to her exchange with Notley in the legislature this week.
Mr. Speaker, today I stood with the former Governor of the Bank of Canada, Mr. David Dodge. Mr. Dodge very articulately impressed upon Albertans how the Premier's Sovereignty Act, amended or not, will harm our economy.
So let me get this straight. We have a Liberal appointee to the Bank of Canada who is not even from Alberta, who didn't read the bill, who didn't read the amendments, and quite frankly, the Bank of Canada increased interest rates 0.5% again today, which actually has a dampening effect on investment, coming to Alberta to tell us how to run our affairs. You know, I'm wondering who this opposition leader is going to have at her next press conference. Maybe she should just invite Justin Trudeau.